In this video, we're about to witness a full-scale custom car transformation. A project that stands as a pure expression of creativity and craftsmanship. At its heart lies a daring vision to radically reinvent a post-war GMC pickup truck and breathe new life into an American classic. The mastermind behind this transformation, the skilled mechanic from Half-Ass Customs, takes on a bold challenge, cutting off the roof and reshaping the vehicle into a sleek Roadster-style machine. Every step blends artistry with precision, merging vintage charm with modern innovation. So make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the epic work happening here on the channel. Let's go! The car in question is a 1949 GMC pickup, a true icon from General Motors' first-generation advanced design series. These trucks, with their rounded fenders, tall cabs, and robust structure, embodied the spirit of post-war optimism. They were built for utility, yet over time became symbols of endurance, craftsmanship, and the golden age of American motoring. Today, these pickups remain highly sought after, whether for careful restorations or radical custom builds like this one. Their familiar silhouette instantly sparks nostalgia, reminding us of an era when vehicles were built to last a lifetime. After modifying the bumper and front grille, the builder moves deeper into the project, tackling the intricate inner framework. With much of the original structure removed or heavily reworked, even fundamental systems like the steering column and dashboard must be reinvented from scratch. Each piece now demands a bespoke solution, handcrafted to fit this one-of-a-kind creation. One of the most intricate stages of the build involved the meticulous fabrication of small metal brackets and connecting links. Subtle components, yet vital to the car's structural integrity. Each piece was carefully shaped, welded, and positioned to support key mechanisms such as the steering system and the door latch assembly. These tiny metal parts may seem insignificant, but they are the backbone of precision engineering, ensuring every movement feels solid, responsive, and intentional. With the foundation laid, the builder turned attention to the wiring, stripping away the original harness, rerouting circuits, and refining connections. Much of the dashboard underwent transformation, its old layout replaced by a cleaner, more purposeful design. This not only enhanced accessibility, but also opened up space for the installation of custom linkages, switches, and newly fabricated brackets. Every change was a step toward unifying form and function, blending craftsmanship with creativity. Following this interior overhaul, the spotlight shifted to one of the most defining phases of the entire reconstruction: the modification of the rear section. Having already reshaped the truck's body and reinforced its floor structure, the builder now focused on sculpting the back end to align with the Roadster's envisioned silhouette. This transformation demanded both imagination and technical mastery. Using curved tubing and square metal stock, the builder began crafting a solid base, a skeletal framework that would support future additions. Every cut, every weld required absolute precision to ensure the correct balance between strength and symmetry. The interplay between vertical and horizontal sections had to be flawless, leaving no margin for error. This stage not only defined the car's structural outline, but also prepared it for future enhancements, including a custom-built rear box and a completely reimagined back panel. Each decision taken now would influence how the final vehicle looked, felt, and performed, marking another step forward in turning a 1949 relic into a one-of-a-kind modern Roadster. To further strengthen the build, reinforcements were meticulously added to the frame, ensuring the entire structure possessed the rigidity required for both performance and longevity. Every weld, every joint was placed with precision, forming a skeleton capable of enduring the stresses of the open road, while maintaining the visual grace of a custom masterpiece. Instead of the standard square corners found in most trucks of the era, the builder made a daring choice to shape the frame with fluid, organic curves. These smooth transitions wouldn't just elevate the design, they would echo the flowing lines of the body and fenders, merging strength with elegance. Each curve was hand-bent, guided by both skill and intuition, to perfectly match the contours of the custom Roadster's bodywork. These new rounded corners also offered a practical advantage. They created seamless anchor points for the sheet metal panels that would soon form the outer shell of the truck bed. The modified fenders, already sculpted to fit the Roadster's lowered stance, would now blend effortlessly into the new design. Large sheets of metal were then cut, shaped, and fitted into place, forming the sides of the custom box. This phase demanded absolute precision. Each panel had to align perfectly with the tubular framework and the wheel arches that had been mocked up earlier. A single misalignment could disrupt the symmetry of the entire build. Once the panels were positioned and their fit verified, the welding process began. The builder approached it with patience and intent, joining the panels to the frame seam by seam. Tack welds were used first, carefully placed to minimize heat distortion and prevent the thin metal from warping. Only after every section was stabilized did the continuous welds begin, each bead of molten metal fusing the structure into one cohesive unit. The result was more than just a truck bed. It was a handcrafted sculpture of steel and precision. The new rear section now carried a completely bespoke look that perfectly matched the sleek, lowered profile of the Roadster. Even the floor panel was custom built to align with the revised ride height, remaining level across the chassis to preserve the truck's clean, uninterrupted lines. Every adjustment, every curve, weld, and joint contributed to one clear goal: to transform a rugged 1949 workhorse into a modern-day expression of craftsmanship and design mastery. For the fuel system, the builder selected a Tri-5 Chevy gas tank, a compact, well-balanced choice that fits seamlessly beneath the custom bed. Its proportions align perfectly with the Roadster's slimmed-down silhouette, allowing it to remain visually unobtrusive while still easily accessible for maintenance. To secure the tank, custom straps were meticulously fabricated from scratch. Each strap was designed not just for function, but for form, to complement the overall aesthetics of the undercarriage. The ends of these straps were reinforced and strengthened with gussets where needed, ensuring rigidity and long-term durability. By creating bespoke mounts instead of relying on generic hardware, the builder achieved a cleaner, more integrated finish, one that reflects the project's uncompromising attention to detail. Throughout this ambitious rebuild, precision measurement has been the invisible thread tying everything together. Every cut, every angle, and every alignment must be exact. In a build that transforms a vintage pickup into a streamlined custom Roadster, precision is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Beyond strength and aesthetics, the builder also considers aerodynamics, a factor often overlooked in classic truck builds. Each custom panel must be measured and positioned with care to minimize air drag, ensuring smooth airflow along the body's curves. Even though this vehicle isn't designed for high-speed racing, its lowered stance and refined profile naturally lend themselves to improved aerodynamic flow. The result is a design that not only looks fast, it feels balanced and efficient even at rest. With the chassis and rear section now taking shape, the builder turns to one of the most defining visual elements of the project: the doors. These will undergo extensive modification to harmonize with the radically reimagined silhouette of the vehicle. Every line and contour must blend seamlessly with the rest of the body, maintaining that perfect balance between vintage character and modern craftsmanship. The next stage promises to push the boundaries of metalwork even further, where precision meets creativity, and every spark of the welder brings the dream closer to reality. Every stage of this transformation is a testament to patience and precision. By meticulously measuring each panel before cutting or welding, the builder ensures that every section sits perfectly flush, that the lines of the body transition smoothly without a single visible break or uneven edge. Each piece of metal must flow naturally into the next, as if the vehicle had been born with this design from the start. With the rear section completed, attention shifts to one of the most challenging and defining aspects of the project: the doors. These panels will undergo extensive modification to harmonize with the truck's newly reimagined Roadster silhouette. Since the cab has been chopped and reshaped into a lower, sleeker form, the original factory doors no longer align with the revised body lines. To solve this, the builder takes a bold step, cutting into the tops of the doors and reshaping them to blend perfectly with the lowered roofline. This delicate process requires both precision and artistry, a balance of structural integrity and visual flow. Each cut is deliberate. Each weld is measured to the millimeter, ensuring that when the doors are reassembled, they appear as though they were always meant to fit this radical new profile. But reshaping the doors introduces new mechanical challenges. The factory hinges, originally designed for the truck's taller cab, can no longer function as intended. To accommodate the new shape, the builder removes the hinges entirely, reworking their mounting positions to suit the modified geometry of the cab. This adjustment demands reinforcement elsewhere. The door jambs and A-pillars are strengthened to handle the new hinge alignment, ensuring stability and smooth operation. In some areas, spacers and shims are carefully added, allowing micro-adjustments that fine-tune the final fit. This meticulous attention to alignment guarantees that the doors open and close effortlessly, without sag or misalignment, a detail that distinguishes true craftsmanship from mere assembly. Meanwhile, another equally crucial relationship is being refined: the delicate balance between the wheels and the custom fenders. This connection is at the heart of the truck's transformation. The stance, the proportions, and the way the wheels tuck beneath the sculpted arches will ultimately define the Roadster's character. Every fraction of an inch matters, as even the slightest offset can alter the vehicle's visual harmony. In this phase, engineering meets artistry, where the rigid precision of metalwork fuses with the fluid vision of design. The result is a machine that's not only mechanically sound, but also visually breathtaking. A handcrafted embodiment of motion, even while standing still. As the builder lowers the truck's stance and refines its sleek, road-hugging profile, the wheels become the visual and structural anchor around which the entire body begins to take shape. Every curve of the newly formed fenders must flow perfectly around them, not merely to cover, but to complement. This relationship between the wheels and the body lines defines the Roadster's character: muscular, poised, and aerodynamic. However, because this build began with a salvaged post-war pickup, the wheel hubs and surrounding components demand serious attention. Decades of use, and likely neglect, have left behind layers of rust, worn surfaces, and outdated bolt patterns. Restoring them isn't just a matter of cleaning, it's a complete mechanical renewal. Each hub must be reconditioned, aligned, and adapted to fit the custom suspension setup being designed from scratch. Meanwhile, with the custom bed now completed, the builder transitions into a fine-tuning phase to ensure its durability. The finish applied to the bed must not only highlight the craftsmanship, but also withstand the realities of use, from scratches and fuel spills to harsh weather exposure. Every coating, sealant, and treatment is selected with longevity in mind, because this vehicle isn't just meant to be admired, it's meant to endure. Despite the truck's vintage origins, modern innovation plays a vital role in its rebirth. One of the most defining upgrades comes in the form of a hydraulic suspension system. Instead of relying on traditional leaf springs or static coil setups, the builder chooses a dynamic, tunable solution that allows the ride height to be adjusted at will. With this system, the Roadster can lower itself close to the ground for a dramatic, show-stopping stance, or rise when needed for road clearance, perfectly merging old-school metalwork with cutting-edge engineering. Yet, amid all these refinements, one element demands the builder's full attention: the engine. Powering this reborn classic is a small-block Chevy V8, an icon in the world of custom car culture. Known for its reliability, sound, and endless potential for modification, it represents the soul of the build, the beating heart that will bring the steel sculpture to life. From the very beginning, though, this component presented a challenge. The engine, like the wheels and hubs, came from a salvage source. It bore the marks of age, corrosion, grime, and outdated fittings. Restoring it would mean stripping it down completely, cleaning every surface, and rebuilding it with the same care and precision seen in the rest of the project. Each bolt replaced, each gasket resealed, each polished surface. All of it leads toward one goal: a perfect harmony between classic power and modern precision. The stage is now set for one of the most crucial phases of the build: the rebirth of the engine that will finally give this handcrafted Roadster its voice. With the chassis now heavily modified and the body dropped to a dramatically lower stance, the choice of wheels becomes more critical than ever. The selected set must align perfectly with the revised suspension geometry and maintain the desired ride height. Every millimeter of offset, every inch of diameter, will determine how the tires sit beneath the sculpted fenders, ensuring the Roadster's proportions remain balanced, aggressive, and fluid. Because the suspension has been entirely re-engineered, the wheels must do more than look good. They must function within the newly calculated geometry. The builder carefully measures clearances and alignment angles, making sure that turning radius, camber, and ground clearance all synchronize with the custom framework. Once satisfied with the setup, the builder moves on to the installation of the lateral bumpers, subtle yet essential components that complete the flow of the vehicle's profile. Each bumper is mounted, adjusted, and rechecked for precise alignment, ensuring they sit flush with the surrounding bodywork. A single uneven contour could disrupt the visual harmony the entire build is striving for. On the mechanical front, the project continues its fusion of classic and modern engineering. The Chevy small block V8, now fully restored and tuned, is paired with a more contemporary automatic transmission. This pairing ensures reliability and smoother performance, allowing the Roadster to retain its vintage soul while offering a more refined and responsive driving experience. Yet through all these changes, the new suspension, the custom bodywork, the modern drivetrain, one element remains unmistakably clear: the builder's absolute attention to detail. This project isn't about convenience. It isn't about shortcuts or quick fixes. It's a celebration of craftsmanship, rooted in the spirit of traditional hot rod culture, yet unafraid to break from convention. Instead of relying on bolt-on kits or mass-produced drop-in parts, nearly every component in this build is either hand-fabricated or heavily modified to fit the exact vision of the creator. Each weld, curve, and custom bracket speaks to a deep understanding of automotive design, metal shaping, and mechanical systems. It's the difference between assembling a car and sculpting one from steel, between replication and creation. As the project nears completion, one truth becomes undeniable: this isn't just a rebuilt pickup. It's a handcrafted statement, a reimagining of what post-war American engineering can become when passion, precision, and artistry converge. Unlike most classic truck restorations that strive to preserve factory originality, this project takes a bold step in a different direction. It reimagines the vehicle's entire silhouette. The goal isn't to replicate the past, but to reinterpret it through the lens of creativity and engineering mastery. This philosophy runs through every inch of the reconstruction process. Every design decision has a purpose, and every mechanical adjustment carries aesthetic intent. Rather than adding superficial flourishes or decorative touches for appearance alone, the builder ensures that each modification plays a dual role: functional and visual. Whether it's a reshaped panel, a relocated hinge, or re-engineered bracket, every element contributes to both performance and design harmony. The result is a vehicle that doesn't just turn heads. It tells a story of precision, purpose, and passion fused into one cohesive form. The builder's vision is clear: to craft a machine that's striking to look at, but equally coherent and capable in its performance. Throughout this journey, we've seen countless parts built, reshaped, and refined. But there's another ongoing battle that defines any restoration of this magnitude: the fight against rust. For the builder, rust isn't a mere cosmetic flaw. It's a structural threat that undermines both beauty and safety. He approaches corrosion with the same discipline and attention as any other fabrication task. Each affected section is methodically assessed, and the response depends on the depth and spread of the damage. Many of the original components bear the marks of time: surface oxidation, pitting, and deeper penetrative corrosion that has eaten into the steel over decades. For parts deemed salvageable, the process begins with mechanical rust removal, grinding, sanding, or blasting away every trace of oxidation until bare metal is revealed. Each treated surface is then sealed and protected, ensuring that the integrity of the structure is restored and future decay is prevented. It's painstaking, unglamorous work, but essential. Because in a build like this, longevity isn't an afterthought, it's the foundation. Every spark, every weld, every polished edge represents not only craftsmanship, but also respect for the machine's legacy, ensuring that this reinvented classic will endure far beyond its original lifetime. Once the rust has been fully treated and the raw metal brought back to life, the next step is immediate sealing, a crucial measure to prevent flash rusting, which can occur within hours of exposure. The builder knows that bare steel is unforgiving, and so every surface is protected as soon as it's cleaned. In areas destined for welding, he applies weld-through primer, a specialized coating that allows strong metal fusion while ensuring that internal seams remain shielded from corrosion long after the panels are joined. This subtle detail, invisible to the eye, makes a monumental difference in the vehicle's long-term durability. Importantly, the builder doesn't take shortcuts. He doesn't simply cover over rust and call it restoration. When pitting runs deep or the metal's structural strength is compromised, those sections are cut out completely and replaced with fresh steel. It's a purist's approach: rebuild what must be saved and remake what cannot. Even during surface preparation, putty and body filler are never used as concealment. In this workshop, they serve a higher purpose, as sculpting mediums, helping to refine and perfect the steelwork's contours. Every application is a gesture of precision, shaping reflections, not hiding imperfections. Once the underlying form is perfected, the entire panel is skim-coated with finishing glaze, smoothing out the final surface and preparing it for primer and paint. Meanwhile, attention shifts to the most defining feature of the transformation: the Roadster-style upper frame. Since the traditional roof and support pillars have been completely removed, the builder must create a new structure that both reinforces the body and enhances its aesthetic flow. Using a combination of square and round tubing, he begins to mock up a lightweight yet rigid skeleton, aligning it precisely with the modified windshield frame. Every curve and angle is guided by the principles of proportion, symmetry, and balance. Fitment tests are performed again and again, checking for proper flow across the body, even spacing at the doors, and enough clearance for movement and visibility. Each revision brings the design closer to perfection. When the base framework is finally dialed in, it's tack welded in place, checked for squareness from multiple angles, and fine-tuned until it feels like an organic extension of the vehicle's new identity. The structure now mirrors the spirit of the entire project: strong, light, and purposeful. A handmade fusion of engineering and artistry that transforms a once utilitarian pickup into a sleek open-air machine built to endure and impress. To ensure the new roof remains true and perfectly aligned, the builder reinforces its frame with precision bracing. Each joint and crossbar is carefully measured to guarantee that the roof won't twist or lean once the full weight of the metal skin is applied. In a project like this, even a millimeter of distortion could compromise both appearance and aerodynamics, so accuracy is everything. With the skeleton complete, the roof skin is crafted by hand from 19, or 20-gauge sheet metal, selected for its ideal balance between flexibility and strength. These thin sheets can be shaped and curved without cracking, yet remain resilient enough to hold their form over time. The builder's goal is not simply to replace what was removed, but to elevate the truck's silhouette, blending the cab's original retro lines with a sleeker, more aerodynamic profile that feels both vintage and modern. As the shaping begins, the craftsman relies on a mix of hammering, rolling, and contouring, introducing gentle arcs and flowing transitions across the roof's surface. These subtle curves ensure that no panel looks flat or boxy, a common mistake that would clash with the truck's low-slung Roadster-style stance. Instead, the roof now mirrors the rhythm of the vehicle's body, catching light and shadow in motion like a wave of polished steel. But every weld tells a story, and not all of them are smooth at first. When two pieces of sheet metal meet, the weld bead often stands slightly raised or uneven, especially along long exterior seams. If left untreated, these imperfections could distort the roofline, revealing themselves later under paint as ridges, ripples, or faint shadows. To prevent that, the builder methodically grinds and levels each weld, moving slowly and patiently to preserve the surrounding metal's integrity. Once the surface feels uniform to the touch, it's hand-smoothed and checked under direct light. Any flaw that catches the eye now will only amplify after painting. In this workshop, perfection isn't optional, it's the standard. Next comes one of the most delicate challenges, the rear window. Since the original roof and pillars have been heavily modified, the existing window no longer fits the redesigned cab geometry. It must be reshaped and resized to flow seamlessly with the new contours while maintaining proportional harmony with the rest of the build. The chosen design pays tribute to classic hot rods, a slightly smaller, more oval rear window that balances vintage charm with modern precision. Yet it isn't just aesthetic. It maintains functional visibility, ensuring the Roadster still feels as practical to drive as it is captivating to look at. By the end of this phase, the truck begins to take on its unmistakable personality. A fusion of strength and elegance where every curve and contour feels intentional, every weld a mark of craftsmanship. The once rugged workhorse is now evolving into something altogether different, a hand-built piece of automotive art. Once the roof's metal surface has been shaped and leveled, the builder moves into one of the most meticulous and unforgiving stages of the entire process: surface perfection. Under bright workshop lights, every inch of the panel is inspected by both sight and touch, searching for the smallest inconsistencies. Tiny pinholes, micro cracks, or low spots can easily go unnoticed at first glance, but once the final paint is applied, they become glaringly obvious. So this is the stage where patience and precision define success. When minor imperfections are detected, the builder applies a thin layer of body filler or fine metal glaze to smooth the transition between panels. In areas where welds are recessed or hidden behind bracing, cavity wax or seam sealer is introduced, protecting the metal from future corrosion and ensuring long-term durability. After this, the transformation truly begins. Applying putty across custom metalwork is more than just a technical step. It's an act of artistry. It turns the raw, battle-scarred surface of fabrication into something silky and sculpted, ready for the world to see. Each pass of the applicator glides across the panel like a painter's brushstroke, guided by years of instinct and experience. Once all the welding, grinding, and shaping are complete, the builder begins to finesse the form with precision. A two-part polyester-based body filler, often similar to high-grade Bondo, is mixed carefully to achieve the right consistency. Not too thick to drag, not too thin to sag. This filler is used only where needed, often on deeper imperfections or uneven transitions between welded joints. As it cures, the filler bonds tightly to the metal, becoming part of the structure itself. Afterward, the sanding begins. Long, even strokes with sanding blocks of progressively finer grit. The rhythm of this step fills the workshop, a soft, steady sound of progress, as each motion brings the surface closer to perfection. When the contours are just right and the panel feels glass smooth under the hand, the builder meticulously removes any trace of dust, oil, or residue using a wax and grease remover. This ensures the next layer, primer, bonds perfectly without contamination. The primer used for a custom build of this caliber isn't just any coating. the builder reaches for a high-build, two-component epoxy or urethane primer, the kind that grips tightly to both bare metal and body filler. This primer serves a dual purpose. It seals and protects the underlying structure while filling in the faintest sanding scratches and surface flaws. Sprayed and controlled, even passes, the primer coats the truck in a uniform matte finish. As it dries, the once raw and scarred panels now appear unified, a single flowing sculpture of steel and craftsmanship. Under the harsh light of the garage, the newly primed body doesn't yet shine, but it carries a quiet promise. The rough edges of the past are gone, and the foundation for a show-ready finish is finally in place. By the end of this phase, the truck begins to take on its unmistakable personality, a fusion of strength and elegance where every curve and contour feels intentional, every weld a mark of craftsmanship. The once rugged workhorse is now evolving into something altogether different, a hand-built piece of automotive art. Then, the same meticulous process is repeated for the rear section, ensuring every curve, seam, and contour matches the precision of the front. Each panel is checked again for straightness before being installed. No shortcuts, no compromises. Only after everything fits flawlessly does the builder commit to final welding and finishing. As a matter of interest, custom automotive projects like this one are part of a thriving subculture in Canada, particularly among those who find beauty in reviving machines long forgotten. This build, based in Manitoba, stands as a proud reflection of that heritage. Across the Prairie provinces, Manitoba, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, you'll find a vibrant community of car builders, welders, and dreamers keeping this tradition alive. In old barns, small garages, and workshops surrounded by open fields, they take rusted frames and sun-faded metal and transform them into rolling works of art. Many of these vehicles begin their second life in unlikely places. Farmyards, forgotten sheds, or salvage yards buried under decades of dust and snow. Yet, in the hands of dedicated builders, they're reborn with personality and power. The combination of American hot rod influence and Canadian ingenuity gives rise to builds that are bold, practical, and distinctively authentic. Working in Canada often means facing harsh winters, limited resources, and long months indoors. But these challenges only sharpen creativity. Builders adapt, invent, and modify, turning obstacles into opportunities. They find ways to repurpose old parts, fabricate what they can't buy, and engineer solutions that merge performance with personality. It's this same spirit that fuels Half-Ass Customs, a small Manitoba-based shop with a reputation for resourceful, ground-up transformations. Their approach, hands-on, practical, and entirely self-taught, mirrors the ethos of countless grassroots garages across the country. Through local car shows, summer cruise nights, and increasingly YouTube channels, this culture has gained new visibility. Enthusiasts from coast to coast now share their methods, stories, and builds with the world. Each project, no matter how humble, carries a sense of national pride. A statement that Canadian craftsmanship deserves to stand shoulder to shoulder with the best in the world. And as the builder continues shaping this Roadster, the project becomes more than metal and machinery. It becomes a tribute to that culture. A living example of how passion, perseverance, and creativity can thrive even in the coldest corners of the map. Particularly across Canada's rural regions, classic vehicles from GM, Ford, and Dodge hold a special place in automotive culture. Many of these trucks were either assembled locally or became trusted workhorses across farms, fields, and frozen backroads. They've endured decades of harsh weather and hard labor. Yet today, they serve as the perfect foundation for creativity and rebirth. Even so, transforming one of these aging machines into a modern, road-ready custom build remains an immensely labor-intensive endeavor. Every component must not only fit together aesthetically, but also meet modern safety and traffic standards. From the first sparks of teardown, cutting into the original cab, fabricating a one-off chassis, and welding every custom panel, This project represents a complete, ground-up reconstruction. For a skilled one-man builder, a transformation of this scale can demand anywhere between 600 and 1,000 hours of hands-on labor. Each phase is a test of patience, precision, and imagination. Interruptions, design changes, or unexpected fabrication challenges can stretch that timeline even further. But for the builder, time isn't the measure. Quality is. Every element of this 1949 GMC Roadster pickup has been reimagined from the ground up, carefully reconsidered, redesigned, and handmade to align perfectly with the builder's singular vision. The result is unmistakable. This isn't a restoration of history, it's a reinvention of it. The finished product embodies the essence of half-ass customs: unconventional, fearless, and unapologetically original. It captures the raw soul of classic post-war design while pushing boldly into modern interpretation. This isn't merely a truck rebuilt. It's a statement of identity, a declaration that craftsmanship still matters in an age of convenience. Inside the cab, the story continues, but not through period-correct imitation. Instead, the builder treats the cabin's original structure as a blank canvas for creativity. The focus here isn't nostalgia, it's visual flow, balance, and comfort. Each contour is refined, every control repositioned with purpose. The goal is not to mimic the past, but to harmonize vintage spirit with modern sensibility, creating a cockpit that feels timeless rather than dated. This final stretch of the build embodies what custom work is truly about: vision, discipline, and artistry. Every bolt and weld tells the story of persistence, a tribute to what can be achieved when passion meets skill, and when a forgotten piece of history is given a chance to live again. The dashboard remains simple in design, echoing the clean, purposeful aesthetics of the original 1949 GMC. Yet even simplicity demands precision. The builder reshapes and refines its surface, crafting custom-cut panels to accommodate a selection of modern gauges and switches. Each element is positioned with intention, ensuring functionality, symmetry, and visual balance. The steering wheel, too, receives a bespoke treatment, finished to reflect the bold, uncompromising tone of the project. It's not merely a control surface, it's a centerpiece, the point where the builder's hands meet the culmination of thousands of hours of work. By this stage, the final silhouette of the pickup begins to reveal itself. The proportions are cohesive, the stance aggressive yet elegant. You can already sense what the finished machine will become. But there's still much to refine, many final touches to bring the vision fully to life. What truly elevates this build, however, is the builder's ingenious use of a metal mesh skin, a solution that perfectly bridges engineering with artistry. At this phase, the creator begins fabricating and installing a custom tonneau cover, a feature that's both functional and visually striking. Rather than relying on traditional flat sheet metal, he constructs it from a reinforcing grid of intersecting struts, forming a lightweight skeleton over the truck bed. This innovative approach offers both strength and adaptability. The metal mesh acts as a flexible yet stable scaffolding, allowing the surface to follow the complex compound curves of the custom Roadster's rear profile. By carefully welding and bracing the mesh with rigid support bars, the structure maintains its form through every phase of the process, from fabrication to finishing. Once the frame is secured, it becomes the perfect foundation for fiberglassing, blending the durability of steel with the malleability of composite material. The result is a lightweight yet robust tonneau cover, one that not only protects the bed but also enhances the Roadster's flowing design. Each weld here is a mark of ingenuity, each curve a calculated decision. It's a stage that demonstrates how true craftsmanship lies, not only in restoring the past, but in redefining what's possible within it. Once the metal mesh and strut framework is fully completed, the real artistry begins. Sheets of fiberglass matting are meticulously measured, cut, and positioned across the entire surface of the tonneau cover. Given the complex flowing curves of the design, this step demands not just precision, but intuition. Each layer must drape perfectly over the steel skeleton, conforming to its geometry without a single wrinkle or fold. It's a process that feels as much like sculpting as fabrication, where patience and rhythm define the outcome. Every motion matters. Even a small crease in the matting can translate into a visible imperfection on the final surface. Or worse, weaken the structural bond between fiberglass and steel. Here, geometry and finesse must coexist. Every curve obeying the laws of form, every adjustment guided by experience. Once satisfied with the placement, the builder begins the resin application. A slow, methodical process that turns raw materials into structure. Using brushes and rollers, he saturates the fiberglass matting with polyester resin, ensuring complete penetration into every fiber and opening of the metal mesh below. The resin must be distributed evenly, not just to activate the matting, but to eliminate hidden air pockets that could later form bubbles or distortions. With each pass of the roller, the glossy surface begins to glisten under the workshop lights, signaling the transition from soft fabric to hardened form. Gradually, as the resin cures, the once flexible mesh transforms into a solid, unified shell. A perfect fusion of metal and composite, strength and elegance. You can almost sense the permanence setting in. The truck's design is no longer theoretical or skeletal. It's real, tangible, and strong. This moment embodies the essence of custom craftsmanship, the merging of technical mastery and artistic instinct. Every movement, every brushstroke is deliberate, guided not by blueprints, but by the builder's deep familiarity with how metal, resin, and time interact. What was once a grid of steel now stands as a seamless, aerodynamic surface, one that reflects both the builder's vision and the endless hours of careful labor it took to bring it to life. The final layer, a sheet of foam-backed vinyl, serves both a visual and tactile function, elevating the piece from functional fabrication to design refinement. On one hand, this layer introduces a subtle softness over the otherwise rigid fiberglass shell, creating a surface that feels warm and inviting to the touch. It stands in quiet contrast to the cold precision of the exposed metalwork that defines much of the build. The foam beneath the vinyl gently rounds out the hard lines, muting edges and transitions so that light glides smoothly across the form instead of breaking sharply over it. The result is a surface that no longer looks like a mechanical panel, but rather an integrated design element, a continuation of the vehicle's character and identity. There's an almost upholstered quality to it, a sense that this component belongs as much to the world of fine interiors as it does to rugged engineering. This decision perfectly embodies the design philosophy that runs throughout the entire project. Here, the line between interior and exterior isn't just blurred, it's redefined. The builder treats both spaces with equal care and intentionality, allowing the truck's craftsmanship to flow from the cabin outward, unbroken. Just as the custom seats and trim inside the cab celebrate precision and handcraft, this vinyl-wrapped tonneau cover extends that same attention to detail to the exterior. It mirrors the visual rhythm of the truck's sculpted shapes, echoing the smooth curvature of the rear fenders, the bead-rolled bed panels, and the seamless roof transitions that define the vehicle's silhouette. But as elegant as the result appears, applying the vinyl is far from a superficial task. It's a delicate, labor-intensive process that demands both precision and patience. Every inch of material must be stretched evenly, heated carefully, and smoothed meticulously to avoid wrinkles, bubbles, or tension marks. At this stage, craftsmanship becomes choreography, a steady rhythm of heat, pull, and pressure as the builder works the vinyl into place. The tactile satisfaction of the material responding, conforming, and finally settling over the surface marks the culmination of countless hours of planning and execution. And when it's done, the transformation is complete. A once raw and experimental tonneau structure now feels like it has always belonged. A perfect blend of industrial strength and aesthetic grace, it encapsulates the very essence of the build. A vision where every detail, no matter how small, contributes to the harmony of the whole. the builder must stretch the material just enough to remove tension without overstressing it, finding that fine balance between firmness and flexibility. Each pull is measured, each movement deliberate. Then, with a heat gun in hand, he warms the vinyl just enough to match the curvature of the form, coaxing it to conform rather than forcing it into submission. The adhesive is applied with equal precision, ensuring an even bond that leaves no ridges or trapped air beneath the surface. Every corner is wrapped with intention, every seam hidden or resolved so cleanly that it feels like part of the original shape. It's the final tactile stroke on a project defined by precision, patience, and individuality, a moment where engineering meets artistry. This single process ties the truck's past and present together. Once a salvaged relic, now reborn as a high-concept custom Roadster. It's a synthesis of eras, classic bones dressed in modern craft. And just as the vinyl gives shape to the body, another layer, paint, will now give it soul. The next phase begins with a painstaking preparation. Every panel is masked, sanded, and cleaned, stripped of dust, oils, and the smallest imperfections. Nothing can interfere with the purity of the finish. Only then does the builder reach for the spray gun. With slow, even passes, he lays down a vibrant lime green base coat, a daring contemporary color that electrifies the vehicle's profile. Each coat is applied with a careful overlap, maintaining perfect consistency and crisp transitions across the panels. Under the lights, the color dances, bold yet refined, a reflection of the builder's own sensibilities. It turns the truck into something unmistakably modern, while still echoing the craftsmanship of its heritage. Meanwhile, inside the cab, some of the most exquisite details await discovery. The quiet touches that complete the transformation and give the machine its final voice. Precision is everything, especially when spraying across the compound curves, deep creases, and sculpted transitions that define this body. These areas act like magnifying lenses for imperfections, instantly revealing uneven coverage or surface irregularities. To avoid that, the builder works with methodical patience. Each pass of the spray gun overlaps the previous one with perfect consistency. Distance, pressure, and spray pattern never vary. Every movement deliberate, every sweep measured. It's a dance of discipline and feel, where the difference between flawless and flawed lies in the smallest motion of the wrist. Because of its application on such a classically rounded form, the paint achieves a rare balance. Modern energy wrapped in vintage grace. The vibrant lime green hue flows effortlessly across the sculpted transitions, highlighting every curve and contour that the builder painstakingly shaped by hand. But the brilliance doesn't stop with the body color. The finer details receive the same uncompromising attention. The rear panel is finished in a crisp, contrasting white, its clean tone emphasizing the recessed lighting and neatly integrated license plate mount. This subtle contrast breaks up the color field, guiding the eye and adding rhythm to the design. The windshield, now reinstalled with polished trim and custom mounts, sits low and sleek, perfectly aligned with the chopped roofline. It captures reflections like glass in motion, tying the whole profile together. Finally, the classic-style wheels complete the composition. Their timeless design and polished lips stand in deliberate contrast to the radical custom bodywork, grounding the build firmly in nostalgic hot rod tradition. What emerges is not just a truck, but a visual symphony. Every curve, color, and surface working in harmony to tell the story of transformation, craft, and vision. Next, attention shifts to the interior floor where craftsmanship meets comfort. The builder carefully prepares the surface, ensuring it's spotless and level, before introducing a thick molded underlay. This layer is shaped precisely to the cabin's contours, smoothing transitions and adding a subtle cushion to every inch of the floor. It not only refines the ride quality, but also acts as a silent barrier against vibration and road noise, an invisible touch of luxury. Once trimmed to perfection, the custom carpeting is fitted. It flows seamlessly from one section to the next, hugging every curve and contour like a tailored suit. Every edge, every stitch is placed with intention, a quiet testament to the builder's patience and precision. The seating undergoes a transformation just as dramatic. What began as a pair of worn, sagging frames becomes a statement of comfort and design. The tired upholstery is stripped away, the brittle foam discarded, and the steel frame exposed to the light for the first time in decades. The builder re-engineers the spring base, introducing a subtle recline for improved ergonomics, a thoughtful detail that bridges utility and art. From a fabrication standpoint, turning this salvage relic into a fully functional convertible pickup demanded immense structural planning. Reinforcements, hidden supports, and custom bracing ensure that despite losing its original roof, the vehicle retains its integrity and balance. It's a showcase of technical insight wrapped in creative freedom. And now, at last, this remarkable creation, once a forgotten shell of a 1949 GMC, takes to the open roads of Manitoba. The vibrant lime green paint shimmers under the shifting light, reflecting every custom contour in motion. Each curve seems alive, sculpted not only from metal and fiberglass, but from passion itself. The truck's silhouette, aggressive yet refined, slices through the landscape like a living embodiment of classic Americana reimagined. What began in the solitude of a workshop now finds its true voice on the road. Every weld, every line, every decision made along the way is vindicated in motion. This is where the vision breathes, in the hum of the engine, the play of sunlight on chrome, the sound of tires rolling over the endless prairie roads. The journey that started as restoration ends as revelation, proof that even the most weathered relics can be reborn through creativity, patience, and the unrelenting spirit of craftsmanship. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to visit Half-Ass Customs channel, where you'll find more incredible builds that celebrate the art, the grit, and the beauty of custom automotive creation. And that's the end of the adventure. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to check out the previous videos, stay tuned for the upcoming ones, and if you haven't subscribed yet, join us and hit like and share. See you.